Self-care is not selfish, it's selfless, and it creates your capacity for pretty much everything positive. You show up as a better, more grounded version of yourself, which pretty much impacts everyone around you. Today, I'm going to share with you why it's especially important for older adults to incorporate self-care practices every single day, and 4 very simple tips that you can start implementing right now without feeling guilty about it, so that you can have greater peace in your life and a greater capacity to be there for others, whether that looks like not freaking out in traffic or not being highly reactive with your spouse. I am Cyn Meyer, the founder of Second Wind Movement, and over the past decade, as a retirement life coach for older adults who are striving to turn their retirement years into their best years full of purpose and passion, a big part of that I have found is the energy and the zest, having that energy and zest for life to tackle everything you want and more. This is simply not possible in the absence of self-care. So step number 1 is to straight up prioritize it and make the time literally in your calendar. Prioritize self-care by scheduling it into your calendar just like you would a doctor's appointment. Self-care is the one thing that will help you age gracefully and live a long, happy life. But it's not easy when you're always busy and or distracted with other things that eat up most of your time. Whether they're meaningful or not, responsibilities or not, I am a huge fan of including self-care in your morning routine. I always recommend to my clients and my students to work this into their daily AM rituals as a first foundational step. If you can't, at the very least, I recommend scheduling in some me time every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Doesn't have to be in the morning, but that's ideal. Because if you don't plan for it, it likely won't happen. Over the past decade of helping super successful retirees, I have heard a lot about decision fatigue. It can sound like I should be doing this, but I want to be doing this. When should I fit this in? And so on. It takes care of that decision fatigue by simply popping a brief ritual into your AM slot, preferably at the same time every day. It becomes a positive, intentional habit, just like brushing your teeth. Also, let's quickly call out some ideas for self-care. It can run the gamut from physically taking care of yourself to mentally, spiritually, emotionally taking care of yourself. All the invisible stuff. So the physical stuff I consider survival mode self-care activities like getting enough rest, taking care of your skin, going on a walk, exercising, taking a physical break to sit in your garden or watch the birds, right? Treating yourself to a spa day or a haircut or something physical like that, where you pay attention to what your body needs. And the invisible self-care activities, the emotional, mental, and spiritual side can include activities like journaling, reading, praying, visioning, dreaming, meditating, calling a close friend, going for a walk in nature, just spending time with one of your top passions or your favorite hobbies. And if you're unsure of what those things are, that exploration and gaining clarity process, whether it's thinking, brainstorming, or journaling, in and of itself is a self-care practice. Taking the time to explore and learn inward about what your true passions and interests are is so foundational, and it completely counts. So be very intentional about including at least one daily self-care activity that nourishes you, like the real authentic you, no matter how small. This is the tiny stuff in the background that most people don't take the time to prioritize that will likely give you the most energy, especially cumulatively over the long term. If you do this every day, I guarantee you, your life will change in one of the best ways possible. But you gotta be consistent with it. Which brings us to tip number 2, start simple and singular, as in one simple self-care practice weaved into your daily routine. If you take on too many changes at once, you probably won't stick to it, which is exactly why New Year's resolutions are really difficult to see all the way through. In fact, I'm not even a fan of New Year's resolutions, and I recommend breaking it down into new months or even better, new days resolutions. If you're wondering where to start because self-care takes on so many different forms, try to think of activities that promote either your physical health and or natural inner joy. And sometimes you won't know it until you try it. And sometimes it won't spark that inner joy until you make it part of your routine. But some examples are set aside 20 minutes each morning or night where there are no screens allowed at all, and then swap it out for reading or meditating or journaling. Some other ideas: take a hot bath. This triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode. Take a daily walk around the block to decompress. Keep a daily gratitude journal where you write about specific things that you are appreciative of, and allow yourself to just go deep enough to physically feel the heart coherence in your body when you are gratitude journaling. That is a game changer for people. There's an endless list of activities that can help you recharge your batteries. The most important thing is that it resonates with you. It has to be unique to you. It can't feel cheesy to keep going. It's really less about what your activity is and more about having the consistency around that sensation of energy that's built into your life, where you give yourself the chance to feel a certain way daily. Taking care of yourself, showing up for yourself, connecting with yourself authentically, this daily practice is hugely important. And then once you have your daily self-care activity in place, keeping it super basic so that you make it a daily habit, then after several weeks, observe any positive changes. And then if it's stable, at that point, you can start to add in more when you feel ready. The gist here is to keep it simple and take it one micro step at a time, one daily activity per day for a regular period. Then you're ready for step 3. Keep track of what works. It is tough to create new habits, even if they're good for you. So a great way to make sure that you turn it into a consistent daily habit is to keep track of your new self-care practices. So you log your activity. For example, if you have a goal, like a tangible one, let's start with, of eating healthier and losing weight, and you want to turn this habit into more than just sporadic activities, keeping a food journal and logging what you eat on a sheet that's like conveniently in the kitchen can be a game changer for the results that you want to get. Not only does tracking your progress make you feel more accomplished, but you'll also get a better understanding of what is working and what's not. And that makes any process less overwhelming and a lot easier to tackle. Or you could do it more broadly and track in a quick reflection journal, for example, like once a week or once monthly. Regardless, it needs to be intentional and consistent in that rhythm. Tracking just helps you see what the heck is going on. And then by becoming more conscious of your thoughts and feelings and your behaviors during these activities, you'll learn exactly how they impact you at a deeper level. And it's truly important to understand which activities energize you and then which deplete your energy. That clarity and that discernment of seeing what's your energizing list and your draining list, depleting list, is the number one secret in my book to boosting your energy throughout life. Which brings us to step number 4, learn when to say no. So this is where you protect that energy. Sometimes the most difficult aspects of self-care is knowing when to say no when you're used to blurry boundaries, for example. This is especially true if you're someone who's used to taking care of a lot of people or you have a lot of responsibilities. As you know, saying no is a critical life skill. And the trick to saying no without hurting anyone's feelings is being first very honest and clear with yourself about your needs and priorities. Because then you come from a place of wholeness, a place of confidence and self-knowing, and that allows your no to come from a place of love. In fact, you do the boundary holding and the other person does nothing. So in a context of healthy boundaries, it's okay to practice not worrying about other people's feelings or coming off as rude, because it's really about you being honest with yourself and showing up as a better version for the others, right? Over time, resentment is not what you want. So it's a better scenario to feel initially uncomfortable about the practice and then coming from a place of love to step into a better version of you than to totally let someone down later at a more emotionally worse, agitated, depleted version of you. You don't have an infinite amount of energy, and protecting your energy is a way to boost that energy. So you deserve to spend time on things that matter to you, and that's how you show up in a more authentic and honest relationship with others. So all in all, self-care is truly selfless because everyone around you benefits from the better, more grounded version of you, including yourself. you will have more inner peace. And please remember that self-care is just one part of a fully energized and purposeful retirement. If you want comprehensive help achieving your ideal retirement life, head over to our free masterclass and watch how to turn your successful career into a successful retirement. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. We need more people like you striving to be your best in retirement and beyond. I am Cyn Meyer, your passionate retirement life coach, and I will see you in the next video.